Hi, I'm Alex. Growing up in the quiet suburbs might sound peaceful, but in our house, it was far from that. I'm the older sibling, and you'd think that comes with some perks, right? But no, my younger sister Jessica got all the attention. Our parents, Mike and Karen, had this perfect image of what a kid should be, and that was Jessica. For me, sports and hanging out with friends were my escape, but my parents didn't see it that way. They only pushed me towards academics. Just like Jessica, focus on your studies. Alex, why can't you be more like your sister? My mom, Karen, would say, always sounding disappointed, no matter how well I did on a test or project. It felt like I was walking on a never-ending tightrope. I remember one evening clearly. I was in the living room sketching, another hobby my parents didn't like, when Jessica came in, bragging about her latest A in math. Mike, my dad, immediately praised her. I tried to show them my drawing, hoping they'd appreciate it just once. Dad, look at this, it's for the school's art contest. Mike glanced at it briefly and said, that's nice, but maybe you should focus more on your calculus homework instead of these little projects. Feeling frustrated and like I was always second best, I went back to my room. My room was the only place where I felt like I could breathe, away from the constant comparisons. But even there, Jessica would sneak in and say things just loud enough for me to hear. Why even try? Alex, you'll never be good enough, she'd say, smirking. I'd grit my teeth, trying not to let her words get to me, but it was hard. Home felt like a battleground. Every achievement of Jessica's was celebrated, while mine were either ignored or criticized. One day, things blew up over something as small as social media. I was a sophomore, and Instagram was where I kept up with friends and shared bits of my artwork, my escape from the real world. One afternoon, Karen caught me with my phone, laughing at a friend's post. Honestly, Alex, every time I turn around, you're on that phone. It's like you're addicted, she snapped. It's just a break, Mom. I've been studying all afternoon, I replied, trying to stay calm. That's not what your teachers are saying. Your grades are slipping, and all you care about is this social nonsense. Jessica was standing by the doorway, smirking as usual. As soon as Karen walked away, she stepped in, pretending to be concerned, but her words were always dripping with sarcasm. You know, Alex, maybe if you cared more about your studies and less about your online life, Mom and Dad wouldn't be so hard on you, Jessica said, her voice sweet, but her eyes told a different story. What do you care, Jessica? You're not the one getting lectured every day, I snapped back. I'm just trying to help, she said, with fake kindness. The next day at school, things took a turn for the worse. As I walked through the hallway, people were whispering, and I caught words like abuser and violent. Confused, I found my best friend, Mark. What's going on? Why is everyone staring at me? I asked, feeling unsettled. Dude, it's all over school. They're saying you hurt Jessica, that you've been abusing her, Mark said. My heart dropped. What? That's insane. Who would say that? She's been showing people bruises. Alex, she said you got angry and hit her. It doesn't look good, man. It felt like I'd been punched. I rushed home, scared and furious, and found my parents waiting with serious looks on their faces. Your sister made some serious accusations. Alex, we've seen the bruises. Care to explain? Mike asked, his voice cold and full of accusation. They're lies. I didn't touch her. You have to believe me, I pleaded. Believe you? When your sister is upstairs crying, and your teachers are concerned about your behavior? Karen's voice was rising, full of disappointment. The argument escalated quickly, voices raised, accusations flying. I felt trapped, cornered by their disbelief and Jessica's lies. Then Mike delivered the final blow. We can't have this in our house. Alex, you're out. Go stay with your grandfather or anywhere else, just not here. Heartbroken and betrayed, I packed a small bag, my hands shaking. Jessica watched silently, her mission accomplished. When I arrived at my grandfather's house and the door closed behind me, I felt like my old life had fallen away. My grandfather welcomed me with open arms. You're always welcome here, Alex. This is your home now, as much as it is mine. His words comforted me, offering the peace and support I had longed for. With his encouragement, I finally focused on my studies, not to meet anyone else's impossible standards, but for myself. My interest in graphic design really started to grow as I began to explore my creativity without fear of criticism. One day, my art teacher looked over my portfolio and said, Alex, this is impressive work. You have a real gift. Hearing that praise felt unreal, but it was so validating. I spent hours in the library, studying design theories and digital art techniques, surrounded by the quiet buzz of students. This new academic environment was refreshing and free from the judgment I had faced before. One afternoon, a classmate asked, "Hey Alex, want to join us for a group project? We could really use your eye for design." "Sure, I'd love to help out," I replied, feeling valued for my skills for the first time. Meanwhile, things at my old home were falling apart. Jessica's perfect image was starting to crack under her own lies. Through calls with people we both knew, I heard bits of what was happening. "You wouldn't believe it, Alex. Jessica got caught lying about her grades this time. Your parents are struggling to cover it up." Hearing this didn't make me happy, but it did bring a sense of justice. My struggles hadn't been for nothing, and the truth about Jessica was finally coming out. During breaks, I visited local art galleries, taking in every stroke and color, which only fueled my passion for design even more. My grandfather always encouraged these trips. "Go see the world through your art, Alex. It's the best education you can get," he'd say, always pushing me to explore further. As I built my portfolio, my confidence grew. By the time I graduated, I not only had a degree but had also started a freelance career. Clients appreciated my dedication and unique style, and I started making a name for myself in the graphic design community. "Alex, your vision for our campaign was phenomenal. We've seen an increase in engagement thanks to your designs," a client told me during a review meeting. Hearing that filled me with pride. I had come so far from the misunderstood teenager who was forced out of his home, all thanks to my art. I was finally making my mark, proving not just to my family but to myself that I was more than the labels they had placed on me. At my grandfather's house, our simple dinners together became moments of reflection and planning. His unwavering belief in me had changed the course of my life. "You've done well, Alex," he would say. "You've built something from nothing, and no one can take that away from you." Each night, as I lay under a roof where I was truly wanted and valued, I knew that leaving my toxic past behind was the best decision I'd ever made. With my grandfather's support and my own newfound strength, I was finally on a path I could be proud of, one I had built with my own hands. As my career in graphic design took off, my work started gaining public attention. It felt amazing to be recognized for the talent I had worked so hard to develop, but with success came a reminder from my past that I wasn't expecting: my estranged parents. One afternoon, I got a call. "Hey, Alex, it's Mom and Dad. We've seen all the great things you've been doing. We're really proud of you." Their words felt hollow, laced with the same insincerity I'd known for years. "What do you want?" I asked, my voice steady, already bracing for what was coming. "Well, we were wondering if we could meet up. There's something we need to discuss with you." "It's been too long," Karen said, with a faint warmth in her tone. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet, more curious than anything else. We met at a cafe, somewhere public, where I felt I could keep control. It didn't take long for their true intentions to surface. "So, Alex, we're in a bit of a financial bind. We need help with some renovations on the house," Mike began, cutting straight to the point. I felt a surge of resolve. "I'll help, but on one condition," I replied. "You publicly admit that Jessica lied about me, that everything she said was false, and that's why you kicked me out." Their expressions shifted, caught off guard by my demand. "You can't be serious, Alex. That's all in the past now. Why bring up old wounds?" Karen protested. "It's not just the past for me. I live with the consequences of what Jessica did, and what you both allowed, every day," I responded firmly. Predictably, they refused, unwilling to expose the family's secrets for the sake of money. Their refusal stung, but it gave me the closure I needed. I stood up, ready to walk away from the past, and from them, for good. "Then we have nothing left to discuss," I said as I turned to leave. As I walked away, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Jessica. Out of the blue. "Alex, I'm sorry for everything. I was wrong. Please help them. For me." Her apology, though acknowledging her lies, did nothing to heal the scars she had left behind. It felt too little, too late. I chose not to respond to Jessica's message. Instead, I took a different approach. I gathered evidence of her past lies and my parents' complicity, and I shared it with our extended family. This wasn't about revenge, it was about finding peace and standing up for the truth. The backlash against my parents was immediate. Family members who had once ignored the situation could no longer look the other way. Through it all, I felt a huge weight lift off my shoulders. By standing in my truth, I was finally able to move forward, free from the lies that had kept me trapped. Exposing Jessica's lies and my parents' role in covering them up sent shockwaves through the family. The dynamic shifted dramatically. Relatives who had once taken their side now had to face the reality of what had really happened. At a large family gathering, the tension was thick. People who used to whisper about me were now whispering about them. It was surreal to see the tables turn. My grandfather, always my rock, stood by my side. His presence gave me the courage I needed to face the family. "You did the right thing, Alex. It's important that everyone knows the truth," he whispered as we walked into the venue. His unwavering support gave me the strength to stand tall. Throughout the evening, family members approached me, their expressions filled with apology and respect. "I had no idea, Alex. I'm sorry for not believing you sooner," one of my aunts said sincerely. It was a moment of validation, though bittersweet. Jessica and my parents kept to themselves, their usual confidence gone, replaced by the uncomfortable awareness of the family's judgment. For the first time, they were the ones on the outside, looking in. I could tell the reality of their isolation was hitting them hard. Jessica tried to make eye contact with me a few times, maybe hoping for some sign of forgiveness, but I stayed firm. This wasn't about revenge, it was about respect and the acknowledgement of the truth. "This has been a long time coming," I confided to a cousin who had been especially supportive. "I just needed to stand up for myself and put an end to the lies once and for all." As the evening drew to a close, I knew that I had finally reclaimed my voice and my story. I felt a deep sense of closure. By reclaiming my story, I had changed the narrative of our family as well. Things would never be the same, but I was okay with that. The turmoil had made me stronger, taught me to stand my ground, and most importantly, helped me trust my own voice. As I drove home with my grandfather, I glanced over at him, my heart full of gratitude. "Thanks for everything, Grandpa. I couldn't have done this without you," I said. "You're my grandson, Alex. I'd do it all over again if I had to," he replied, his voice steady and reassuring. As we drove under the starry sky, I felt a peace I hadn't experienced in years. My past, with all its pain and conflict, was finally behind me. Ahead lay my future, not just as a graphic designer, but as someone who knew his worth, a future bright with promise. And that wraps up Alex's story of resilience and redemption. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you think Alex made the right choice by exposing the truth about his family, or should he have pursued reconciliation for the sake of family unity? Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you think we should handle family conflicts? Is it better to seek justice or maintain peace? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Your support helps us bring more engaging content to you. So, what's your take on Alex's decision? Let's discuss.